teal, petal, teal. Aside from their uncanny resemblance to cultish incantations, you might have noticed that these fun acronyms that you've learned for paragraph structuring all end in an L. Coinkydink? We know that it's not. Coming up with a hook for an English essay related video is pretty hard, so feel free to go onto our Instagram and DM us about what you would like to see in front of these videos, you know, maybe like a fun fact about literature or the life and death of a famous author. Or I can do 3 truths and a lie with myself to you. Okay, back to the whole L that I was building suspense for. If you didn't get that opening was supposed to be suspenseful. What is this L? This secret, elusive special L that a lot of high school students don't seem to know how to execute in their essay, despite it being part of all these acronyms. So L means linking. So what do we mean by linking? I'm going to show you an example of a very exciting essay that I wrote about cats. Welcome to my Feline Dissertation. This is my TED Talk. This article will help you understand what a linking sentence is in the context of this video. I'm going to go through with as much passion as I can, so not to bore you, and I've color coded it. And make sure you remember the color coding because it's what we're going to use when we look at the exemplars later in this video. Cats deserve to be cared for by humans because their existence in itself provides meaning for many people. This is an argument. An argument is a cause and effect sentence which provides an opinion. So I have a claim and I have a reason to support my claim, a general big reason which you may or may not be convinced by. So I have to convince you by providing evidence. So all the objective pieces of information I have marked out in blue. If you have spent any amount of time on social media, you may have become acquainted with toe beans. I love toe beans. The soft fleshy pads of a cat's paw are referred to as such, and their ability to entertain and attract audiences is not to be underestimated. So this is context. This is the information that I want the reader to know before I begin my art, like my supporting arguments and supporting links. It orientates them as to what the heck you're talking about. That's why we have context sentences. Compared to a video with a human face, a cat's toe beans can attract over 5 times the audience and engagement. This is objective evidence. It is your observation. Equivalent in your English essays, that's your technique and quote. It's something that you just can find. There's tangible data on this. And then begins the link, which is how this is relevant to your argument in the first place. Blah, 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 engagement, suggesting that the toe bean is a crucial component of human entertainment. That's my opinion, right? So that's already beginning to be the link. This is my logic based on the objective information. It thus gives people a reason to engage with social media, particularly animal lovers, giving their lives purpose and meaning during their relaxation time. Not the best expression. I would honestly mark myself down in this dissertation for this confusing, but it still kind of makes sense. This is what happens when you present with a first draft. Should have been edited. Naughty, naughty, naughty. Now, basically, I am discussing my path of logic. To have contributed so much to society, the cat only desires to be fed and petted. In consideration of this request's humbleness and the benefits for humanity, cats definitely deserve all the care we can provide for them. So this summarizes how my paths of logic come together, and it links back to the argument in the concluding sentence. That's what linking means. Linking means taking objective information and using your subjective understanding of it to support your position. Okay, we're throwing this back to past Anki to move you on to the next section. Okay, so theoretically, this all makes perfect sense, I hope, because you probably use linking in your personal argumentations every single day. For example, Miss, may I go to the bathroom?
No.
Well, you see, I actually think me going to the bathroom has benefits for everyone else in this class as well, because if I don't go to the bathroom, then I'm probably going to pee my pants, and that's going to be uncomfortable for me and everyone else involved, and then this place is probably going to smell like a cat litter box, and no one's going to be able to focus on their learning. So actually, in going to the bathroom and avoiding this disaster, I have brought benefits to everyone else in this class. So I should go to the bathroom. I spoke very fast. Maybe you can watch me on half speed. I've been practicing. I've been spitting the syllables. Okay, I've been practicing my enunciation so I can rap out the script. Rap it out. Okay, so then if you do this every day, and I hope you do this every day, because effective argumentation can get you to a lot of good situations. But what's the issue with essays? Well, I get it. For one, the language of an essay and the concepts discussed in an essay is a lot less accessible than everyday things such as going to the bathroom. The language you need to bring forth these arguments and linking sentences are in a different space. So, let's go through a few essay exemplars. And in these exemplars, I will show you where the linking sentences are. And then after we go through a couple of those, let's have a look at a few responses that need a bit of improvement with their linking, and I will directly show you how to do that, where to put the linking sentence, and what to say in the linking sentence. And by the end of this, you're going to be a linking genius. Okay, back to future Anki. Do you still remember the color coding that we used for the previous Feline Dissertation? Orange stuff are the arguments. Blue means objective evidence, right? Like objective information. Pink is linking. Okay, pink is linky link. So let's go through these exemplar responses and see how we go. By the way, I understand that this is boring. Exemplar response reading is boring. So here's a couple of options for yourself. I will still read it out and explain everything, but I've already annotated the important things. So if you want to pause and just take some screenshots to examine it in your own time. Now, moving on to those who like to listen to the drawl of my voice. But the question is, explain how metaphors are used to capture the intensity of the heat in the scene. So explain questions require you to provide the logical link between a cause and an effect. Okay, so a relationship. They want you to create reasons and reasonings as to why it happens the way that it does. Metaphors which focus on connotations of fire and baking are used to capture the intensity of the heat. The ground is metaphorically likened to baking clay, which is a substance that has its moisture removed in a kiln. Okay, so this is all objective information. Next is the pink, where it's like, well, okay, what's relevant about this? Well, because it has its moisture removed, the link here is it brings into the description a sense of dehydration because of this objective fact. Furthermore, the heat was likened to, it should really be is, but the heat is likened to some enormous furnace, so another objective observation from the text itself, which draws on the image of an unrelenting flame, a furnace, constantly burning stuff. So it's pink because this is my logic now. In the word furnace, I see unrelenting flame, and I use an active verb to identify the effect. By the way, I say I. This is a student exemplar. So the I is representative of the student who wrote this. Okay, so the student chose active verb to identify that effect of the furnace. Okay, the word draw is a lot better than show. Draws on the image of an unrelenting flame to further bring in images of aridity. So once again, I had a path of logic. a logic progression, if you will, and ultimately that created meaning. Hence, it is the connotations of selected metaphors that capture the intensity of the heat that links all the way back to the explain how metaphors are used to capture the intensity of the heat. This is exemplar number 2. So if you would like to screenshot, now's the time. Take your screenshots. Okay. So the question is, explain how the garden's colorful appearance is conveyed through the excerpt. It should be worth more than 2 marks now I think about it. But so you have to explain how the appearance is conveyed in the excerpt. Which means you have to answer it, and the answer is given. Dural gives each plant distinctive qualities. That's how it's conveyed. Distinctive qualities to illustrate the garden's colorful appearance. Just really notice that how it's a cause and effect sentence every single time in that orange line. That's how you write an argument. Distinctive and specific distinctive and specific elements of each flower are described through visual imagery, such as rose petals, which are big and smooth as saucers, flame red, moon white, whereas the marigolds are like broods of shaggy suns. By the way, this is really one word. The use of, the evidence was that the blue section, this is the concrete evidence. We now have to talk about the relevance of distinctive elements. The relevance of distinctive elements. How euphonic. Okay. The use of such distinctive colors and metaphors make each flower's identity distinct. That's the link. That's the logical relevance. Okay. So you have the impact of the quote, which is creating distinct colors, but then you talk about exactly what the impact is on the argument you make. And the garden appears more multifaceted. Okay, so see how that's linking back? Because ultimately you're trying to tell us that it's a colorful appearance. Furthermore, it's not just visual differences that Dural imbue, it is also personality differences. So once again, you have like a really nice little contextualization. It's a segue, it's a smooth link into the next argument. For example, the bougainvillea sprawled luxuriously, whereas the fuchsia hedge is described to be ballerina-like. Okay? So there's this use of personification, which really should have been put in there as well. So the use of personification constructs contrasting personalities, which further the distinctiveness of each plant. So once again, we're linking back to the effect, which the distinctiveness ultimately feeds into the garden's vibrancy, because you're seeing more, like you're seeing each plant as like a distinctive entity. Okay, time for some editing. So we're going to start with a relatively simple edit. This actually is has nothing to do with textual analysis. The question was just explain why sports is popular. Okay, so sport is like, that's the concept. So sports, let's use a red pen to mark. The sport is popular because many people enjoy what they do in the game. Okay, so that qualifies, right? That's like an argument because it's cause and effect. And there is that distinctive mention that people enjoy what they do, although ideally that should have been specified, as in, is it the camaraderie? You know, like, it's not a long question. This was literally a 1 mark or 2 mark question, but that's okay. I can still accept this argument. Now, I'm looking for evidence then. So what is it that they do, and how do you know that they enjoy it? So an example of this is when people plan and train them for their next game, or travel and go see their favorite players in team play. Okay. This is where the problem. So we don't have a link. We don't have a link back. I fixed that. I fixed that. So sometimes such training demands hours of time commitment each week. As time is precious, it must mean people like the activity enough to dedicate so much effort into it, suggesting they enjoy the game. Do you see that? Linking is when it's more than providing the reason, it's really walking the reader through the relevance of the evidence. Okay, that's the next one. Okay, so this particular question was in response to what explained the effect of the extended metaphor in this question. Okay, so I've placed the argument out here. Now, a couple of things. So the poet uses metaphor in the poem Hope is a Thing with Feathers. They really should have said extended metaphor to emphasize how hope is a fragile bird. Now, that is not really an explanation about why it was chosen. An odd answer for this question, but we'll see. So the poet uses tactile sense, so they mean imagery, in that could have bashed a little bird. Okay, so this is the objective information. To show how, although hope is still fragile, everyone must have it. And here I beg the question, where'd you find that? Where'd you figure that out? So to show how, although hope is still fragile, I don't see a link. I do not. Okay? There is no tangible connection because it wasn't explained to me. Everyone must have it. I really don't see how they got that from this quote. How would I fix this? First of all, I would cut this out. Okay? It has no relevance to the quote that was provided. And if you did want to include it, you're going to have to walk me through the logic. You can still talk about fragility, but the thing is, I believe the word abash, that could abash the bird. So the bird is, easily scared away. The bird, I hope, is easily dashed away. That's what needed to be explained here. So the poet uses, you can say zoomorphism, in that could abash a little bird to show, to use the easily frightened animal. Oh, that is not neat. The easily frightened animal to capture hope's fragility. The poet then uses personification in I've heard it in the chillest land and on the strangest sea. I probably would not have chosen personification. I would say superlative language, cold, like chillest, right? Strangest, suggesting that these are extremes of location. They're difficult for survival. So then here, instead of saying to show that hope in these conditions, I would say to show that hope even in the most extremes of condition, as is represented by the superlative language, still continues to exist. And then I'd say hence, and create a concluding sentence to link all of that back to the argument. So that was basically the segment by Future Anki. Hopefully now you can go through your own responses to see whether or not, your linking sentences are actually working effectively for your essay. If you would like someone to have a look, just to check if you're doing the right thing with your responses, especially for a school assignment, you can always use our marking services, which are available to check out. And I've put the link down below in the description box. Yeah. Cool. Back to Future Anki. Back to past Anki. This is why time travel is dangerous. Honestly, missing linking sentences are one of the biggest reasons why analysis is told that it lacks depth. If any teacher has given you feedback like expand, say more, how is this relevant? Yeah, that means you didn't do a good job with linking. Alright, that's all the time we have on the Simple English channel today, and we will be back with another video sometime. In the meantime, feel free to check out our other videos. We are working really hard this year to make this channel super bingeable and super dense with information. Also, we'd love to know what you want to know because we can help you so much better if we can hear your questions. So feel free to pop over to our Instagram page, Simple English Tips, and literally just direct message us and we will see those questions. Once again, please like and subscribe to our channel if you would like to keep track of when we post other super dense English related content, and we'll see you next time. Let me show you with this very serious very serious essay about cats and their toe rings. Come on now, you're too deep in. Come for the ride.